welcome back to the Generational Drama Podcast. And today we are going to be asking, do you what? Would you rather questions?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Gen D Podcast. We're your host.
Tyler and Leo.
Yeah. As you guys can tell, that Alyssa is not with us today. So we do have a special guest, and it is my son, Leo. He is going to fill in for Alyssa today. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah? You a little nervous?
Yeah.
Just a tad bit?
No.
A lot? Why is it nerve-wracking?
Oh no.
You
Never
don't know?
did anything like this.
You never done anything like this? Once you get used to being on camera, you'll be fine. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is it different?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a long time ago. It was a very, very long time ago when our episode first began. We did a episode with my kids, Leo and Mackenzie.
Wasn't it during a tornado?
It was during a tornado storm, and unfortunately, that episode did not premiere because we did lose the episode, so we weren't able to premiere the episode. Sadly, so when he did that the first time, it was off camera, and this time he is now doing it on camera, and he's the host of the show. It's a little different for him. I'm a little excited because I actually get to do what I love to do with my son, so it's definitely an experience for me as well. You got anything to say?
No.
No. The good thing is I prepared for this episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to do would you rather questions for children, of course, because this is now a children's episode. So we're going to do a little bit of a, fun little see how his brain kind of works and what he answers. And I'm really excited. Are you?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
You super ready?
Yes.
All right. So we'll be back here in a few minutes after our intro.
And we're back.
You gotta wait till he said we're back.
Nice.
So we're gonna get into the episode. I know this is probably gonna be a little bit of a shorter episode than we're used to, just because we're trying to get one out there, and my son really wanted to do this with me. So, like I said in the intro, he really wanted to do this with me. And so I'm going to ask him a series of would you rather. Some of them are going to be kind of probably boring, and some of them are going to probably be like, what the heck questions. So, all right. Would you rather be able to sleep standing up or walk laying down?
Walk laying down.
Walk laying down? Why?
Because I think it would be cooler than just sleeping standing up. Because you're able to do that.
Walk laying down?
Yeah.
Like, I can't picture it. You're just like, I'm sure you can't. Is it like, I wonder if it's you're walking laying down and you just kind of walk backwards with your hands?
That would be like a Michael Jackson thing.
Like, there is no way to do that. You're just sliding. That doesn't make any sense. These are some dumb questions. By the way, I found all these questions on Country Living. These are not my questions. I did not write these, but these are on Country Living. All right, on to the next one. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather live in all glass house or a house without windows?
A house without windows.
Why?
It gives you more privacy.
It does give you more privacy. I do agree with you on that one. I don't think living I don't like windows anyway.
I think like people could easily like stalk you and see what all you're doing and stuff.
Well, I don't know if I could live in a house necessarily yes, people can stalk you, and you definitely would have to buy you'd have to buy a lot of blinds.
That'd just be a waste of money.
It would just be a waste of money. Like so I guess but then you would get stir crazy with no windows.
But you also have a front door.
You do have a front door.
And
You could go outside. It's not saying that you can't. You're right. Yeah.
It just make a lot more sense, and you would have more privacy.
Yeah, that's true. And you wouldn't waste a lot of money on blinds. All right. On to the next one. Oh my god. Would you rather take a shower 6 times a day for a month or go without showering for 6 months?
I'd rather take a shower.
But it's saying 6 times a day.
Yes, I would rather do that.
So, like, you literally would be taking a shower 6 times.
Yes.
Okay.
Because do you want to smell bad?
I would
Whenever
not
you
want to
go out
smell
of-
bad. And you know me, I'm a germaphobe, so I could not go without showering.
I would rather shower than smell bad walking around the whole time.
Yes. Yeah. Even though sometimes you are very stinky.
Not true. Don't listen to him.
He is very stinky. He's going through hormone changes, so he definitely is a stinky kid.
Wrong answer.
Is it a wrong answer?
Yes.
No.
Well, I think this thing also can prove that.
He just loves the buttons. All right. On to the next one. Would you rather always have to enter rooms backwards or always have to somersault out? So it's asking if you would rather enter the room backwards or somersault out of the room.
I'd rather enter the room backwards.
I would much rather somersault because I think it would be fun. Could you imagine though walking like doing a somersault out the door and someone's walking in and you just kick them? I think that would be pretty funny. You don't think that would be pretty funny? Yeah, like you would just be like, oops, I have to do it. You know, I have to do the somersault. I have to do it. I'm sorry. I don't have a choice. Life gave me this hand where I have to somersault outdoors, and you happen to be in my way. So I'm going to kick you if you're in my way. I can't stop mid somersault, you know? Like, I don't have that capability. And I was given that hand. Would you rather have to high five everyone you see or hug everyone you see?
High five.
I would much rather high five too.
I don't know who the person would be that I would be hugging. It would be disgusting.
I am not a huggy person. I am not a touchy feely person.
What if the person that you're hugging has lice?
Then you would get it.
Exactly.
You would get the lice.
Yes.
You might. You might not. I hate dealing with lice. Oh my god, it was the worst thing ever. I hated it. But yes, and plus I'm like I don't like big bulks of hugs. Like I do for certain people, but even then, like I have a limit. I much rather not hug. I'd much rather high five you if I had to. So high fives all around. Would you rather have an extra eye on your forehead or 4 ears? Elephant ears over here listens to everything. This kid knows probably everybody's deepest, darkest secret because he pretends he's not listening, but he listens to everything. So he would probably have 4 ears. I would have an eye on my forehead. What am I? I'd say 4 ears for you, but I could be wrong.
You're trying to call me an elf over here?
I didn't say elf. That's not an elf. You would have 4 ears. Literally 4 ears. So you would have one.
So what? Am I an animal that has extra ears? You're over here calling me an elephant.
Well, because you have elephant ears. He has these big ears that hears everything. You cannot, like, he seriously cannot, like, you literally have to tell this kid, like, whatever I'm saying right now cannot be repeated because he hears it. Then he likes to pretend that they don't hear it, and he goes, I didn't hear anything. What'd you say? And I'm like, kid, you heard it. You know exactly what we said. Because then sometimes when we're having, like, when me and his dad are whispering up, like, in the front seat, he'll chime in with a response.
I don't know who he's talking about.
I'm talking about you. So I say 4 ears for him. Obviously, he's not answering the question. So I say 4 ears.
I think 4 ears.
You would say 4 ears?
Yeah.
Then that means like 10 times. He would know everybody's secret. Like literally
I know
everybody's
your
secret.
secret.
All right, let's get to the next one. All right, let's see here. Ooh. Would you rather get a really bad haircut or dye your hair your least favorite color?
Rather dye my hair. Because eventually it'll go away.
What is your least favorite color?
It'd probably be like a pink.
A pink? Why?
I just don't like the color.
So you would just do a pink? I don't think pink looks. I really don't know because I'm colorblind. So
I do not want my hair to look like.
I have literally had every color in my hair. So I have no idea what my hair looked like at all. So, and I don't have a least favorite color. I would say I don't have a least favorite color because I can't see them. So
But can you
I guess it
imagine
really doesn't
having a
matter.
really bad haircut? I would not be able to stand
No,
that.
because I've had bad haircuts.
I would not be able to stand it.
Yeah, no,
I'd
I
be walking back in and say, I need my refund.
I need it now. Would you? Would you walk in
Yes.
there and like, I need a refund right now?
I'm turning into Mr. Cameron right here, right now.
Bring down the mic a little bit. This is a good question. Would you rather see the world in black and white only, or only glow in the dark?
Ooh, glow in the dark.
I knew that was going to be your answer.
Yeah, but you also see the color in black and white.
I see black and white, so I would probably.
It really wouldn't matter to you.
Well, no, it does because of the fact that like I would love to see color. Like I would love to see it full time.
You can if you wear your colorblind glasses.
Yeah, but I hate them. They give me
See?
headaches.
That's just his fault.
No, they legitimately give me headaches. And plus, I don't like the lenses and all that other stuff. And when I take them off, my brain like goes through a whole loop thing, and it's very weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it does. It like goes through a loop, and I would much rather see color full time, and then glow in the dark at night.
Glow in the dark would be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool. Then you wouldn't need a flashlight.
Exactly. So I'd be prepared for a zombie apocalypse. I'm ready.
But you would also be spotted very easily.
But they're not attracted to. But they're not attracted to light. They're attracted to sound.
That's certain creatures.
No.
No.
Search it up.
Zombies are attracted to sound.
Yes.
They're attracted to the brain.
And blood.
That's vampires.
No, vampires and zombies are pretty much like the exact same thing, except for zombies like to tear out your brain.
No, they're not. Vampires are a functioning...
It sounds like from Egypt where they didn't even think your brain was important. They would stick something up your nose and rip it out. Saying, it's not important. You don't need it.
In the afterlife.
Yeah, afterlife in like BCE.
BCE. Yeah. That's multiple different religions. Egyptians believe differently. Oh my gosh. All right, next question. Would you rather sneeze uncontrollably every day for 10 minutes or get hiccups every day for 10 hours?
I'd rather sneeze.
It's only 10 minutes. I would rather sneeze for 10 minutes. Because then the question is, would you know they're coming?
No.
You wouldn't know they're coming?
Well, actually, yes, you could because like whenever I sneeze, I like know it's coming up.
So you could like if you had to pull over on the side of the road, you could just pull over and sneeze for those 10 minutes because hiccups hurt.
They don't really hurt. They're just so annoying.
I think they hurt.
I think they're annoying.
That might be because I'm old and my whole
He's
body.
92, by the way.
I am not. Then I look great for 92 things.
You expired last year.
I expired last year. What does that mean? No? Okay.
It looks like moldy cottage cheese.
Moldy cottage cheese. That's gross. All right. These are a little more like kind of serious ones. They're not super serious, so don't take it as like serious. But would you rather be poor and live a long life or be rich and live a short life?
Poor.
Why?
Because I get to live longer.
That's a great outlook. Yes, I would much rather be poor and
If
live
you're
longer.
rich, then you would lose your money, plus you would die faster.
Well, you wouldn't. It's the saying that you would be rich. I agree. I would much rather live longer. This is a question. This can lead into a question. So, is it like you're super poor, or are you just like
Poor as you like have a house and stuff, don't have much money.
you just don't? You're not rich. Like you can't buy everything you want.
Speaking of that, can you guys donate like $20,000 trillion?
I wish people could donate $20,000 trillion.
I'm trying to get a Lamborghini over here
Why?
so I can crash it.
Why would you want to crash the Lamborghini? Why would you want to spend that much money on a Lamborghini just to crash it?
Excuse me, sir. Your grammar's not correct. Please correct it.
My grammar's fine. You just don't like the question.
Not just because I can sue people.
If you were the one that...
But listen, because if I'm poor, I sue people after that Lamborghini, I just get a whole bunch of more money and I get to live longer. Common sense.
There is no logic there. Now, if you were to sue somebody for something that they did wrong and you win the case, then yes, technically you would get money and you could become rich and then live longer. You don't start out
because it
rich.
never said you have to live poor for the rest of your life. It just said
that is true. That is very true. It did not say that you would have to be poor for
because all you know
life.
is you could get a really good job and then become rich and you get to live longer.
That's a very clever thinking. That is very true. That is super true. All right. On to the next one. So it's saying, would you rather have 100 toys for $1 or one toy for 100?
100 toys
for $1? No, the dollar toys are very, very, very cheap.
Yeah, but the point is you have a lot of them, except for if you had one toy that cost 100, you'd just be wasting a lot of money on one toy.
Yeah.
Oh wait, but that's also the problem.
Yeah, you got to think about
it. I'd rather buy a toy that's $100 because it'll probably last longer.
Yeah, I agree. I would much rather have that one for $100.
I had to process that for a second.
No, I mean that's very clever. You process it, you listened, you thought it out, and you got it. You got there. I think that was a very clever way of thinking. You got it. You got there. All right.
Because I remember you guys telling me that from Christmas, and you said the older you get, the more stuff that you like is the expensive it's gonna get, so you're gonna get less gifts.
Yeah.
So I remember that.
Yeah. So you would get
and then Dad came up with an explanation would you rather have this one toy that was something you don't like?
Well, you did. You got your motorbike. Your motorbike was a lot more expensive than everybody else's toys.
He said, would you rather have an expensive toy that you actually like or something that you don't like?
Yeah.
That was cheap.
Yeah. So, your sisters wound up getting a little bit more than you did. For the same amount of price, we don't, when we get Christmas gifts, we make sure that they all cost the same. So they get something that costs the same amount. So whether he gets a bigger Christmas present for just that one amount, his sisters didn't get anything super big, so they got a little bit less or a little bit more items than he did because we bought his most expensive Christmas gift. So yeah, so as you get older, you're going to be less into toys than you are other stuff like video games and things that you're interested in,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to the next question. Would you rather get a shot or take a test? I don't know. It just says a test.
Is it a grammar test or a math test?
Let's say math because you hate math.
It's not that bad. I'm actually passing.
Yeah, but
and I usually do pretty good on the test, so I'd rather do that instead of get shot. Last time I screamed like a little baby.
Oh my gosh. It was dramatic, and I got yelled at because I was laughing at my child. I wasn't comforting enough.
The worst part is it was by his grandma.
I did get yelled at by our grandma. Yes, I did. Yep. My grandma totally yelled at me for that one. But me and his sister, I had to have his sister turn around.
And we're back.
And we're back. All right. So before we left, I was in the middle of telling a story. So his question was, would you rather get a shot or take a test? And he chose to take a test. He chose to take a math test because he thinks he's really good at doing the tests.
Because usually whenever I take a math test, I get 100s on them.
So he would much rather take a test than he would get a shot. So I was telling the story about the time that he went and got a shot, and I got yelled at by our grandma, because technically she is his grandma too, great grandmother. So he one time when we went to go get the shot, it was like a big ordeal. Like I couldn't help but laugh, and me and his sister. So his sister and I couldn't stop laughing at him because he was like screaming and he was like having a panic attack. And I am not a super coddly person, so I find these things kind of funny. And so his sister was laughing. Well, grandma told me to stop laughing, and I was trying, but Mackenzie, every time she would look at me, she had this smirk on her face. So I had to tell her to turn around because I couldn't stop laughing. I kind of felt bad because he's like over there having a panic attack. So these two nurses, they had to go get another nurse for her to come in with her to administer both shots into his arm. So he had to take 3 shots. He had to get 3. The first nurse did really quick, really easy. And then on the other 2 shots, the one nurse that applied it the first time, she was quick, easy, simple. And then the second one, it had to be like made sure it was like completely ministered because it was an important shot, and it hung out a little longer than he wanted it to. And then he looked at it and he was like, "Get it off me." I thought it was hilarious. So yes, I do see him much rather taking a test than a shot, which is kind of surprising to me. All right, this is a great question. I want to see what you think of it. Would you rather get $1 million right now or have $100 every day forever?
$100 every day.
Forever.
Yes, because $100 every day, it would keep adding up, and eventually you would have more money than you offered that day.
Yeah. And if you have a partner, then you can put that $100 into the savings.
Plus, also, you would have like enough money for like a bigger house, a car, a different car, food,
That is true. Yeah.
and plus part is about that it would keep adding up every single day. So if you were to keep saving that and putting it into like a saving account, investing in businesses,
Yeah.
you would get like a lot more money than it offered that day. Because if you get like that dollar that exact same day, you would run out like faster than you could.
Yeah. That was very smart. That was very smart logic right there. Oh my God. I'm proud of you. Would you rather have a lot of good friends or a few great friends? Would you rather have a lot of good friends or a few great friends? So
I would rather have a few great friends because good friends means like they're okay, they're good, but great friends mean like they're actually great to you.
yeah. So I don't have very many friends, but the friends that I do have are like friends that I see will last a lifetime. So like obviously Alyssa, she's one of my best friends. We have Destiny, she's one of my best friends.
She's my best friend.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of them, but I do. The few that I do have are really great, and they're amazing people in my kids' lives, and they're amazing people just in general. So like I would much rather have a few great friends. That's good. Yeah, that was smart thinking there too. Would you rather? This is going to be the last question that I ask on these serious questions. Would you rather be super good at one thing or just average at many things?
Average at many things.
Why?
Because if you're good at one thing, which wouldn't make you like perfect, just make you good on one
Go up
thing.
closer to the mic for me.
It would just make you gooder on one thing. But if you were average on pretty much everything, because it didn't say how many things, it just said uh average. If you were average on things,
So,
so like if you were only good at one thing, that would not help you that much.
well, that's not
Like if you're
necessarily
taking
true.
like math test or driving test.
Well, I mean, it would depend on, obviously, it didn't give you a clear answer. So, like, say, okay, so say that I, like, this is something that I want to do with my life, right? So I want to be a
The
podcaster
plus,
full time.
but you could also choose that one thing and be great at it, and that could be the only thing you do for the rest of your life. Like for your job or anything, you could be great at that.
Yeah. So like it's so basically so like I would much rather be really good at doing this for the rest of my life than average. Got to think about
Like,
it.
they're
Like
both
okay,
like they're
so
both hard choices.
yeah, they're really hard choices because average isn't necessarily a bad thing
It's not
because you
perfect
can
either.
still succeed at life at multiple things just at an average level. And then but if you're really great at one thing, then you may not venture out and do other things and then it can cause burnout.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. I think I would probably want to much rather, that's actually smart thinking. I would actually much rather be average at multiple things than like great at just one thing. Yeah, no, I feel what you're putting down. I feel what you're putting down. All right. You ready for the gross ones?
Sure.
All right. Would you rather let a spider crawl in your ear or a cockroach crawl up your nose?
Neither. Really. Neither. I don't-
You gotta pick
Wait, where would the spider climb?
in your ear or a cockroach crawl up your nose. See, I would much rather have the spider crawl in my ear.
Well, what if it's a tarantula and then things bite?
I think it's like saying
You would turn into Spider-Man.
I would love to be Spider-Man.
You turn into Beetlejuice.
That's if the cockroach crawls up my nose. Yeah, I don't know. Like spiders are less creepy than cockroaches.
I would rather have like a spider in my ear because there's that happened to plenty of people. Like you could easily get it removed instead of like a cockroach. They would.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about them trying to get the cockroach out
It
of my
would be like
nose.
ticklish trying to get it out.
Ugh,
But at the same time, it'd be disgusting.
I feel like cockroaches are like the scum of
Because whenever they move
insects.
around in your nose, it just tickle you and then make you sneeze a lot.
I think cockroaches are like the scum
I
of
cannot
insects.
stand one. If I ever see one, I'm gonna smash it.
They're gross. They are gross. So I much rather have the spider crawl up
They're both
in my
disgusting.
ear. I know.
Oh gosh.
Would you rather not change your socks for a month or not change your underwears for a month?
I think that's kind of easy for me because that never happens.
That never happens. Well, you don't wear socks very often.
No, not really. I'd rather. Wait, what was the question? Never wear what?
No, it's would you rather not change your socks for a month?
Oh, not
Or
change
not-
my socks for a month.
Ew. I don't know.
But your underwear, it could cause infections.
That is true. That is true, but yeah.
Because like if you were to go outside and play like in the rain or something, your socks would pretty much almost get cleaned off, so it wouldn't smell that bad.
That's not how that
But they would get like if they were dirty, the rain would like almost like kind of help wash
And
off.
it didn't say that you couldn't wash them while they're on their feet. So you could.
So what are you supposed to do? Oh, you could take a shower.
You could take a shower and wash the socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're putting down. I get it. Yeah, no, okay. I understand your logic. I got it. I got there. This might be very simple for you.
Okay.
Would you rather jump in a pool of slime or a pool of mud?
A pool of slime, absolutely.
I think I would much.
That would be a lot more fun than jumping in mud. Because then I'd turn into Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig. No, I think I would much rather, and I've done it before actually when I was about your age. It really, really made Gigi mad. But I was young. I was about your age, and we were at a ball field for your uncle's football, and I decided that because it had just rained and there was the ball field, and I had decided that I wanted to tread across the ball field, the baseball field that was there, and I did, and it really made Gigi mad because I got super muddy, and I would probably much rather, depending on the situation, because slime I feel like would take forever.
Yeah, but slime would be a lot more.
It would be cleaner.
It would be a lot more fun too.
I don't know because slime.
But do
It
you
might.
really want to get that dirty though, and like have to like mud can dry up in your hair, making it worse.
But slime could do the same. I don't know.
But slime is easier to remove. It also depends on what type of slime, because there's slime that easily comes off and doesn't stick to things, and there's also slime that's like really sticky.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't classify what kind of slime.
And who knows what's in the mud? Like there could be snails, worms.
That is true. So I guess we're gonna go with the slime.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with the slime. Okay. Would you rather drink sour milk, which
But
is expired milk,
oh my god.
or brush your teeth with dish soap?
I'd rather brush my teeth with Dawn dish soap.
I would much rather brush my teeth with dish soap.
Because drinking sour milk would just be disgusting. I would not be able to drink that.
Yeah,
I would throw up.
Yeah, me too.
It would be sick. You would be sick.
Because
wow.
You wouldn't have to swallow the dish soap. You would have to swallow the milk, and then trying to get the.
Oh my god, can't do it. I can't imagine what that tastes like. Actually, I don't want to know what it tastes like.
It is not a very It's not a very acquired taste. There was over my bio dad's side of the family, my aunt's ex-husband. We were in the morning. My bio dad had to drop me off at their house to get us to school because he had to go to work, and my aunt's ex-husband had a gallon of milk that had expired. And he didn't check the time or the date, and he poured it in our bowl, and we had to eat the cereal. And me and his uncle and aunt kept going, "Why does this taste funny?" And then he looked at the bottle and he was like, "Oh, it was definitely was not pleasant."
You want to hear what my response would be to that? This. I would die screaming.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. This probably tastes terrible.
Would you rather always have stinky feet and do not know it, or always smell stinky feet on everyone else? I would rather
have stinky feet, because if you smell everybody else's stinky feet,
yeah, but you might not smell everybody's stinky feet.
Also it never said that you couldn't wash away the smell.
But it's saying that if you would would you rather smell the stinky feet on everybody else, or would you rather, because then you would be known as the smelly kid.
Yeah, but so would everybody else.
Yeah, but at least you're not the smelly one.
But the worst part is you would smell it and it'd make you throw up, because there's some feet smells that smell terrible.
There is some feet smells that smell terrible.
I would go, you know the movie's Holes?
Yeah.
I would go back and go find some sweet feet that they made in the movie.
Some sweet feet that they made in the movie. Yeah, to kind of try to kill the
Wasn't
smell.
it like peaches and something?
I don't remember.
It was peaches and something.
I haven't seen the movie in a little while. All right.
You guys hear that?
Would you rather clean a toilet with your toothbrush or the bathroom floor with your tongue? Would you rather clean a toilet with your toothbrush or the bathroom with your tongue? Or the bathroom floor with your tongue?
Repeat that one more time.
Would you rather clean a toilet with your toothbrush or clean the bathroom floor with your tongue?
I would rather use my toothbrush to clean the toilet, because it never said you couldn't get a new toothbrush.
That is true.
Unlike if you had to lick the floor. Oh my gosh.
I couldn't imagine somebody choosing lick the tongue, because you got to think these questions are open-ended questions. So
like you could choose to get a new toothbrush.
Yeah, like it didn't.
It never said you have to use the exact same toothbrush.
Yeah, it never said that you had to use the same exact toothbrush to brush your teeth with it. So
I would just get a new toothbrush.
Yeah. No, I agree. If someone would choose, because then if you would, and it depends. Now, if you had to use that toothbrush,
I would rather lick the floor.
Would you rather lick the floor?
I'd act like a dog.
Yeah. So if you had to use the toothbrush after, I agree. I would much rather lick the floor, because that's one time versus having to repeatedly use the no. And
but
plus toilets are gross.
Yeah, I not want to use the same toothbrush. So I just get a new one.
Yeah, me too. No, I agree. All right. We're gonna start winding down, so I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, and then you wanted to ask me a question, right?
Mhm.
All right. Now we're gonna go to great would you rather questions. We're gonna go switch over to a different category. Would you rather miss your birthday or Halloween?
Halloween.
Yeah, I would much rather miss
Because
Halloween.
that'd just be sad that knowing everybody missed your birthday. Well, you missed your birthday.
You know, the older that you get, sometimes you just like Nana. I mean,
She forgets it's her birthday.
she's
Like,
102.
there was one time we called her and said happy birthday. She said happy birthday back to us.
She forgot it was her birthday. But this woman is 102, so I don't blame her. She's lived a long life. She's done
She's
forgot her
still
birthday.
living.
Yeah, she still is living. Yeah, she's right on. She's moving. We just that yeah no right on. All right. Would you rather ride a roller coaster or a merry-go-round?
Roller coaster.
I would much rather ride a roller coaster too.
It'd be a lot more fun.
I don't like merry-go-rounds.
They're so slow and
they're
boring.
slow and they're kind of boring, and all they do is go in a circle.
Yeah, roller coasters are so fun.
They are fun.
Like they have you get to go upside down,
Mhm.
and then there's some kid doing this in the background.
This whole episode is just gonna be him pushing the buttons. Would you rather live where it never snows or where it snows every day?
Where it snows every day, I just have a lot more fun.
Why?
Because I get to build snowmans, and we get to skip more days of school. We can get better than that.
But you have to make up those days at the end
Not
of the
if
year.
it keeps snowing.
It didn't say that it would like pile up. Are you saying if it piles up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like the cold. The snow is pretty.
You're not a cold person, but I just want to go so I can play in the snow.
Yeah, I would much rather it live somewhere.
But at the same time, I would rather go swimming over snow.
Yeah, so I'd much rather live somewhere where it doesn't snow at all. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have already been out of school by now, but we had to make up a couple of days.
I know. That's so stupid.
Like, why couldn't we have finished having NTI days?
I know. They're coming to the end of the school year. I'm
next week.
Super excited.
We have 2 days left.
You have 2 days left. They literally don't go to school on Monday, and then they miss school or go to school for 2 days, and that's it.
No, we have Friday too.
Stupid. No, you literally go
because today's Thursday.
Today is Thursday.
So we have school tomorrow.
So you have 3 more days left of school.
But on the school board, they said 2.
Well,
I'm so confused.
You technically have 3 days left.
Yeah,
but they're not.
I think they were counting today.
Yeah. All right. Would you rather swim in the sea or hike in the mountains?
Swim in the sea. I would get to see it never said would I get to go diving.
Well, I mean, you'd be swimming, so
I would rather go swimming because it's fun. You get to have fun.
I would honestly prefer hiking because I do love the water.
You like the nature.
I do love nature.
You like the
relax, I'm a very big,
chill.
Yeah, I'm very big on outdoor.
You know what you would be perfect for?
What?
You'd be perfect for a bear because they like to enjoy nature. They like to sleep a lot.
Yeah, but what if can the bear be a friendly bear and not eat me?
Well, obviously.
Obviously. Okay, I mean, I'm down for that. If I can, I would be down for can I name him Pooh Bear? Like Winnie the Pooh? Does he love honey?
Of course, all bears do.
No, I don't know, because
there's also, not all of them, but there's also ones that, live in the snow. That would be Other Dad.
A polar bear?
I could see Other Dad, because that Other Dad likes to be in cold rooms.
Yeah, we are complete. Me and his dad are complete opposites.
I also like some cold rooms. My room is burning up at night.
I would much rather be hot, sweaty than cold and freezing. But it also helps with my Tourette's. So
what, cold freezing?
No, warm. Because the colder I get, the more my body. I don't like it. I hate it. Would you rather be really rich or really famous?
Really, really famous because you could get a lot of people to donate to you, like have a lot of sponsors, and like if you get a really good job again, you could like get more money, and then you could become famous and rich.
I mean, yes.
But also, you could become rich, be like the really rich, and become famous.
You could, but it's asking it. You could, yes. What I'm thinking that the question is asking is, would you rather be famous or really rich? See, the problem with being famous, though,
Oh,
sometimes
you get bothered by a
is
lot of people.
you do get bothered by a lot of people,
But the same thing happens
but
to rich people.
not necessarily. But you can be really famous and not be rich.
But imagine having your own TV show.
I would love to have my own TV show,
Exactly.
but at the same time,
Because most people get famous by like having a TV show, a movie.
you're right. Yeah, no, I agree. But again, like, you can be really poor or be really famous and be super poor. And then you're in the limelight. People know who you are. You don't have any privacy. Like,
I mean, you have some privacy
you have
because they don't know
some.
what's fully happening. They just know what they hear.
Yeah, I would much rather be
Rich.
rich. If
But the problem is with you just don't like having big houses.
I don't like having big houses, I would much rather have a nice
So I
like
have a question for you.
Yes.
What would you do with all that money then?
What would I do with all that money? See, I would obviously like. Can it be a never-ending amount of money?
Technically, never said.
So I would definitely really help people with the amount of money. Like, see, I'm like one
I
of those
might
people.
become like a surgeon just because I could get a lot of money. They also help people.
Yeah, but see, in my mind, is that I have this thing where I don't like really big houses. I like a decent sized house,
Like
enough
this size
for
house for
like the
is
house
for
that we're
him.
in now. Like, is a really good sized house for me because it's got a nice enough space for me and my family.
Studio.
It has my studio. It has a nice space for me and my family to kind of move around. It isn't tied up. I would much rather buy the house that we have now, and if we need to, just make it look really nice and add things on. That way, I at least bought the house outright and I own it, than buy a house that's worth like millions of dollars and have to worry about how it's going to get cleaned and worry about if I did lose my money, that how would I pay for it and lose everything that I own in that house, just because I would have to sell some things to buy it, to do my debt.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, and if I was really rich, you would never know if I was rich because, like, I'm not a materialistic person. So, like, I do
But the
things.
problem is, like, people would know you'd be rich. Like, what if someone tries robbing you? They'd know. They would know you would be rich.
No, they wouldn't know. I don't keep cash on me now. So, like, if they would rob me, they would get my credit card
I'll tell
for
you
a
something
little
about
bit.
him. He forgets his wallet at home 24/7.
That's the only thing I forget at home. And it's just because, like,
He doesn't drive much.
I don't drive much. When I do need my wallet, I half the time it's like I don't know where it's at because I don't drive much. So I just misplace my wallet.
So
Most of the
what
time.
happens if you're really very rich and you lose your wallet? You like leave it at a place. Well, then at that point you're like, oh crap.
Well, you can turn off your credit card.
Yeah, but you also have like cash in there.
Then they just get the cash that's in the wallet. It's not going to hurt me any. Then they got really lucky. They had a really lucky day.
Yeah, but I just turn it in saying I found this right after I take the money.
Yeah, I was about to say. No, like I'm not. See, I feel like, to me, I would help a lot of people out. I wouldn't just not help people. I feel like, I mean, obviously, I would do it within limits because you can't give just everybody out. I think you have to work a little bit for what you got. I feel like. So, like, I'm not saying that you can't. I just want them to, I would help them out. I would provide them with food. I'd make sure they have a place to sleep.
Well, then, pretty much what you're saying is you go build a homeless shelter for them and like help them with surgery and stuff.
I would do with it, like,
so they have like somewhere to live at least.
Yeah. I would buy the necessities for them to survive. Now, if they wanted like televisions and they wanted other things, then that's something that I feel like you would have to work for. But I feel like
Like
the
at that
bare
point, I
minimum
would say
for
like
somebody like I think is kind of
what I would say would be like, I'm giving you a house somewhere you can live, somewhere safe from like the weather. Give you some clothes, food.
yeah.
You get that stuff, but if you want like a TV, electronics, then you can go get your job, go get yourself a job, and at
Yeah.
that point you can progress.
I feel like that's how the world should work.
Yeah, like you should progress from there, and then you should be able to eventually, if you save up enough money, buy yourself a house and get yourself a car
Yeah.
and be able to get yourself own food, and you can get yourself TV.
Yeah. So I like yeah. So and then obviously I would put money aside for you guys to have for your future, and I would definitely take some vacations. I would love to go on
But
some more
this, I would
vacations.
love to again. I want to go to another beach.
Yeah, me too.
Except for the fact that I didn't like how my skin was able to peel off. It sounds so crunchy, like something
Yeah,
was burning.
we went to the beach when we went to Florida. We all got like every single one, and I'm Italian, so like my skin usually doesn't burn, but something about going to the beach
It was hot.
and we made sure we were covered in sunscreen, but we all wound up like lobsters. Every single one of us. His grandparents wound up as lobsters. My sister, us, we were just burnt to the heavens and back. So it was not a pleasant feeling. One more question, and we're gonna end the episode. Um, and then you have a question. Would you rather live in a treehouse or an igloo? Do you know what an igloo is?
Yeah, you build it from snow. I'd been inside one.
Oh, okay. Oh, at the museum?
Mm-mm.
No.
Before we were with you.
Oh, that's interesting.
I built one. It was so cool.
That is cool.
It was big. It was like a big, like rectangular thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But it also snowed a lot up there.
Yeah. Yeah, so you would live in an igloo?
No, I would rather be inside of a treehouse because it's warmer. You get to see nature a lot higher up. It'd be a lot prettier.
Plus, I don't like cold, so you would to build an igloo, you would have
And
to
I
be
think
in
it
the
would
cold
also be pretty cool to live inside of a
tree.
yeah.
I think that would be really cool. I have seen some of those like AI pictures where
So
they're like
cool.
tree houses. I think that would
They
be
look
amazing.
so cool too.
They're like little villages up in the tree. That's so cool. Yeah, no, I agree. I would much rather live in a tree house.
And the igloo is just covered in snow. Like you would not be able to get comfortable sleeping in like the snow and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, well, I mean, igloos are pretty warm because they're impact,
But
but
at the same time, they're cold.
the environment that you would be in would not be my ideal.
Because what if it
environment.
kept snowing? You would be buried underground in an igloo.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Like
because
the front door would be buried. You would not be able to get out.
You wouldn't be able to get out. Not necessarily, but yeah, I mean, some logic. Yeah, I can see that happening. So, do you want to ask your question?
Would you rather go to Mars for 10 years, or would you rather stay on Earth for 50 years by yourself?
I would rather go to Mars because that's 10 years, so I'll be 42. Sadly. Now, well, do I have to go to Mars by myself?
Yeah.
So I would get
For 10 years.
It would be 10 years. Would I get to talk to people on Earth though? So I would be by myself.
Yes.
Like all by myself. No communication, no nothing.
Yeah.
With anybody.
Well, yeah, you could talk to someone. Just like it'd be to the like.
So like from space to Earth.
Yeah.
So from Mars.
But you don't
to
get
Earth.
to talk to your family.
Why?
Because you can't just radio them like hi.
I mean, I would be technically on planet Mars by myself for 10 years. It just I would be able to talk. Because I mean, you would literally go stir crazy if you weren't able to talk to anybody.
Yeah, you could talk to somebody. You just can't talk to your family because it sucks.
That really sucks.
But the problem is that you can also be on Earth for 50 years by yourself without your family.
I would do
or
10
communication.
years. I would do 10 years.
I would rather that too because 50 years on Earth
by yourself would be a long time. Long time. It would be terrible. It would be awful.
But the plus side is you can go to every single mansion, collect all the money, and get a new car.
Yep, that's true. That is very true.
That part of you be all by yourself.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and end the episode. I want to thank my son for coming on. everybody thank Leo for coming and hanging out with me today on this
Thank you.
episode and filling in for Alyssa.
We should
And
do this again.
we should do it again. We will do it again sometime. All right. So, typically, Alyssa does her little editing magic, but she is out of commission this week, and she was out of commission last week. I just worked really hard to get this guest with us today. So you can find us at rss.com, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Also, you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Substack, Clapper, and you can also Google us. I can't think of it. My link tree is, you can also look up my link tree. You can also Google us. You can find us at the Gen D podcast on all those platforms. And again, our major platforms are the ones that I just missed in the beginning.
What was the one? What was it? Like
Clapper. But yeah, so you can find us all there. Until next time, bye.
And follow Leo on TikTok.